You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're out trying to find your way somewhere or send that one last important text, and then you see it, that little red battery icon. It's this uniquely modern kind of stress. Well, today we're going to dive into a technology that promises to make that feeling a thing of the past, for good. And let's be real, it's so much more than just a minor inconvenience. The need to find an outlet is this constant background hum of anxiety. It literally dictates where we sit in coffee shops, what we carry in our bags. I mean, our entire lives are on these devices, and that fear of them dying is a genuine source of stress for so many of us. No, I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. What if your phone just stayed charged? Not because it has some massive clunky battery, but because it's constantly sipping power from the world around us. That's the huge transformative idea we're going to get into today. So what is this magic? Well, the technology that's making this wild promise is called Ambient Charge X1. It's designed to deliver something called perpetual device autonomy, which is just a really fancy way of saying your device can keep running all the time without being tethered to a wall. So what's the secret sauce here? Well, at the very heart of this system is a special AI, and its job is basically to grab all these invisible, chaotic energy signals that are flying through the air around us all the time. We're talking signals from cell towers, satellites, Wi-Fi, and somehow turn them into a steady, reliable stream of power for your phone. Now, the science behind this has a name. It's called ambient energy harvesting. And this isn't a brand new concept. Scientists have been able to pull teeny tiny amounts of power from things like Wi-Fi signals for years. But the key word there has always been tiny. At least until now. Okay, so how on earth does this thing pull enough power from thin air to actually make a real difference for a power-hungry device like a modern smartphone? Well, the answer is in a totally new way of actually gathering that energy. And this right here, this is the real game changer. See, old school systems, they try to sip power from just one source, like your Wi-Fi router, and they only get microwatts. That's next to nothing. Ambient Charge X1, on the other hand, is a dual source system. It pulls in that ambient energy from nearby cell towers, and this is the crucial part, it also harvests power from satellites passing overhead. That combination finally delivers real, usable power in the milliwatt range. So, who's in charge of managing all this? Juggling these two power sources is a pretty complex job, and that's where the brain of the operation comes in, the Ambient Sense AI. You can think of it as the air traffic controller, the power manager, and the security guard, all rolled into one little piece of software. So this AI is basically juggling three huge jobs all at once. First, it's the orchestrator. It's using smart algorithms to predict and manage the power flow. Second, it does wideband harvesting. It's not just looking for one signal. It's grabbing energy from everywhere, satellites, cell towers, Wi-Fi, even a little solar. And third, it verifies the delivery, making sure every single milliwatt is stable, secure, and accounted for. And when you look at the numbers, the difference is just staggering. I mean, look at this. Existing systems like PowerCast or Ossia, they deliver power that's measured in microwatts. That's millions of a watt. Ambient Charge X1 delivers 5 to 15 milliwatts. That is literally thousands of times more power. It's the difference between a cool science experiment and a product that actually works in the real world. So, what does that actually mean for your phone in your pocket? Well, when the system is pulling from both satellites and cell towers, it can extend your battery life by a whopping 60 to 75%. Think about that. That's not just a little top-up. That's a total game changer. So, the big question is, who is this for? You'd think a technology this powerful has to be for some super niche industrial use case, right? Well, actually, the main target is you. Yeah, the company behind this is not starting small. They're targeting the enormous market of over 1.4 billion iPhone users around the world right from day one. This isn't being designed as some specialized tool. It's meant to solve a problem that almost every single one of us has. And to get there, the whole strategy is built around being accessible. The target price is under $200, so they're positioning it not as some fancy, expensive gadget, but as a must-have accessory for anyone who is just sick and tired of battery anxiety. But beyond us everyday users, the applications for this get really serious. I mean, they become literally life-saving. Think about first responders in a disaster zone where all the cell towers are down, or search and rescue teams deep in the wilderness. For them, having a device that just stays charged could be the difference between life and death. And of course, it's a huge deal for all kinds of remote work where power is just impossible to come by. Okay, this all sounds absolutely incredible, but it also sounds a little bit like science fiction. So when could this actually become a reality? Let's take a look at the roadmap to get this thing from a prototype to a product you can. The timeline is, well, it's aggressive. They're aiming to get this into people's hands fast. It all kicks off with a public demo at the big Consumer Electronics Show in early 2026. From there, it moves super quickly to independent testing and then a real-world pilot with 2,500 iPhone users by the middle of that year. And if all goes to plan, the goal is a full-blown mass market launch by early 2027. That's just phase one. The long-term vision is even bigger. We're talking about shrinking the tech down onto a single chip that could be built right into our smartphones. The plan is also to expand it to work with other satellite systems like Cooper and OneWeb, and even develop versions for cars and remote sensors. In the end, it all comes back to this one really simple but incredibly powerful idea. The goal here isn't just to charge your phone a little bit. It's to completely change our relationship with our devices, to finally free us from the constant hunt for a power outlet. And that really is the big question this technology leaves us with, isn't it? We've seen these incredible leaps in processing power, in camera quality, in screen technology, but the battery has always been the anchor holding everything back. So what happens when that anchor is finally lifted? What new things become possible? This really could be the next great leap.